Hey guys, today we're taking a look at the Mouth of Sauron on Steed from the Lord of the Rings. It is a 1/6 scale collectible made by Weta Workshop in a limited edition of 750. The box measures 61.5 by 52.6 by 29.7 centimeters and weighs about 11 kilograms. Here's a quick look at the back of the box with an Xbox controller for scale. This is Weta's new style box with a flap at the front, which can be opened up to reveal more information about the piece inside. On the left side of the flap is a behind the scenes look at creating the piece, and on the right side is a short paragraph on the Mouth of Sauron himself. This is how the piece is packaged inside the box with quite dense styrofoam padding all around. The Mouth of Sauron seems to have come in 9 different parts that you will need to put together. The first component that goes down is the base, and as you can see there are a few slots that the feet of the steed will go into. Then comes the biggest component, the steed itself and the bottom half of the Mouth of Sauron. The top half of the mouth is then put in place. There is a slot at the bottom which shows you how to exactly position this part, and there are also magnets to help keep it in place. The reins of the horse needs to be attached to the bottom of the right hand. There are magnets to hold this in place. Next, attach the tail to the back side of the horse. There are magnets to help keep this tail in place. There are 4 separate armor pieces that needs to be attached to the horse. The first piece on the left goes on the rear of the horse, followed by the piece that goes on the crest. The final 2 pieces go on the left and right side of the horse's chest or shoulder. This is the rear armor piece that, as you can see, has a non-symmetrical shape to the magnet bit. This makes sure that when you attach it to the horse, it only goes in one direction. Next, you will want to attach the armor that goes on the crest, as well as the other pieces that go on the right and left side of the horse's chest or shoulder. The final piece that gets attached is the sword. There's a magnetic bit that will slot into the left side of the Mouth of Sauron, like so. This is the Mouth of Sauron on Steed fully assembled. This piece measures 46 by 40 by 23 centimeters and weighs about 8.29 kilograms, so it is quite a large and weighty piece. Here's the piece beside an Xbox controller and a 1/6 scale Gandalf for scale. Starting out at the bottom rear, we can see that Weta has done a really good job at the paint job here. You can make out the mud and fur on the horse's feet, as well as the dirt, I believe, on the hoof. From the opposite side, you can even see that the belt buckle that holds the armor in place is clearly visible. Similar attention to detail is paid to the front rear of the horse, where the paint job on the armor is just really well done, with the front left hoof also painted. The base has additional detail in that hoof marks can be seen on the ground to reflect where the horse would have stepped in. In general, the bottom part of the horse, mainly the cloth, has been painted really nicely and has that dirty, muddy look which I think looks appropriate. Here's another shot from the left side to show that same paint effect. As we move from the bottom of the feet towards the top of the horse, we can see that we can make out the chainmail as well as the chest armor and some of the belt buckles that hold the armor together. You can also see that there are cuts on the horse which look very realistic. I think Weta has done an incredible job here with the paint. Here's another shot from a different angle where you can once again see the incredible paint job on the cuts. Moving on to the face armor of the horse, you can see that the armor itself is really well painted and all the little buckles that appear to hold the armor in place are clearly visible. You can see that the paint on the horse itself is also fantastic. This is more apparent from the right side of the horse, where you can see the paint job Weta has applied to the mouth of the horse, making it look really menacing. Finally, here's a quick front-facing look from the top of the horse, showing you the paint job on the ears and armor. Moving on to the back armor of the horse. The color here is excellent and you can easily make out all the little details such as the damaged and worn out parts of the armor. Similarly, this part of the saddle, I think, is also really nicely painted. Moving on to the Mouth of Sauron himself. Here's a look at the robe he's wearing painted black. You can make out all the patterns on the robe, which I wish would have stood out a little more. As you get to his feet, you can start to see the mud coloring effect come in. I think there's really nice detail on the actual foot piece that the Mouth of Sauron is wearing, as you can make out the shoestrings as well as the armor attached to the toe cap. As you can see, the stirrup of the saddle is also clearly visible and painted differently. The sword carried by the mouth is made of metal and feels really substantial, and once again has a really good paint job. Some armor pieces are visible sticking out of the mouth's right and left arm. His right arm is holding on to the reins, while the left arm holds Frodo's mithril shirt. There is a surprising amount of detail in this mithril shirt, as the prototype images on Weta's website itself show that it can be quite difficult to make out the individual chain links of this shirt. There is not much going on at the back of the mouth, except for the chain he is wearing and the obvious spikes at the top of the head. From the front, as we move up from the mouth's feet, we can see the belt, the necklace that he is wearing, and the tiny rivets in the inner shirt. As we finally get to the mouth's face, we can see where Weta has paid the most attention to detail. The paint job here is flawless, especially inside the mouth of the mouth. You can see all the individual teeth, the gums, as well as the cracks along the lips and the chin, all contributing to an extremely grotesque look. The detail and paint job on the helm is also stellar, as you can very clearly make out all the different runes and the individual pieces that make up the helm. Weta has definitely managed to make the face look almost identical to what you can see in the extended version of the Return of the King movie. Finally, it might be worth mentioning that the reins are actually free to move around and feel similar to a leathery type material. Overall, I would say Weta has done an incredible job at bringing the Mouth of Sauron to life. There's an incredible level of detail on this piece, including the impeccable paint job on some of the parts such as the armor and faces of both the horse and the Mouth of Sauron himself. The Mouth of Sauron on Steed is a must-buy if you're a fan of Sauron's army or the bad guys in The Lord of the Rings, but also worth it if you're a fan of the franchise in general. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, please click here to subscribe or click here to watch more.